So here we have the Hermit, and look at our figure. He is the number 9 in the Major Arcana Tarot. So our Hermit is standing on top of what looks like a snow-capped covered mountain. And it looks as if he's in the dark. If it wasn't for the lamp, he may be in total darkness. So he may be a little bit confused and how he's managed to arrive at this stage, and he's aware that he's made a lot of mistakes along the way. He may have chosen the wrong path here and there and got involved with the wrong people and maybe said the wrong things. He's also acknowledging that at times he's got things right, and when that's happened, life has flowed pleasantly and easily. Now, the Hermit's aware that he must now apply that knowledge and that experience, what he plans to do next in his next move, where he wants to go, and how he wants life to be. He knows he cannot change the past, but he can learn from the past. To do this, he must first put his mind into a stillness and cut off from the everyday distractions and superficial moments that happen in daily life. By stilling his mind, the Hermit can access his higher self and he can hear the voice from within. And all that knowledge is stored within him, and all of that truth will be known. So he knows that this is a journey that's best to be taken alone. This also suggests that it's a time to go out and be alone. So the lamp's only lighting up the short distance ahead. And so he must use that courage that we found from the Strength card, and you can look at that video from last week, to find the right path for him, the path to personal fulfillment. He will need to take risks alone. He may feel isolated and that no one really understands him. This may be a very cold and lonely place at the top of that dark, snowy mountain. But by the time he descends down from it, he will have discovered about himself. Hi everyone, hello and welcome to this edition of the Major Arcana for the Hermit. My name's Anne-Marie and this is Tarot with Anne-Marie, and we are looking at the meanings and descriptions and how we can actually learn more about the Hermit. Normally I record this live, so please do subscribe to my channel so you don't miss anything. Make sure you press the notification button and then you will know when we are going live. Don't forget you can join us as a guest. So with no further ado, let's jump right into it. Hermit is a card that's very much like the destination of the Eight of Cups. We've not done that one yet. It's coming, so stay tuned. And he walks away from unfulfilling situations within his life. The Hermit helps us realize our own identity by looking at our inner needs and our life purpose. That is, that we need to stop and take that time to listen. So the Hermit doesn't fear being alone, and he quite likes his own company. And there are many of us who avoid the Hermit in our lives. We're afraid of what we might see, what we might feel if we stop long enough to go within, afraid to be on our own. And quite often we seek out others to make us feel complete, never quite knowing who we really are. So the meaning of this card, well, the Hermit's a card for listening to yourself and reflecting on your journey in life and where you are right now. So when you've come from a certain place, you need to figure out how you got there and how it helps you to where you are right now. And the Hermit can be accessed through meditation, through counselling, through study, through books, glorious books, awareness within your dreams. Keep a journal, and connecting with your spirit guides. So again, that goes back to spending time on your own, listening to yourself, allowing your thoughts to roll, allowing yourself to just let things happen in your mind. Don't worry about what your guides are, who they are and what they are. You'll find certain meditation sort of techniques all over on the internet. There's some on my YouTube channel too. But you really need to know that a hermit is associated with the Queen of Pentacles, which is also the sign of Virgo. And the Hermit's a card that has one of the biggest challenges in life, especially if you're a Virgo, and that's to learn to be alone and not be lonely. And the Hermit is suggesting this is time for you to go into reflection. It's very important. It's a time for not doing anything physical, and it's a time of making sure that you're not actually active. So just so we're clear, it's about being able to withdraw from everyday life and social contacts that we've got going on around, things that are reflecting on our past, reflecting on the past. The Hermit is about the past, and it helps you deal with the present and where you want to go in the future. So it's a time for understanding how your past has influenced your life. So the Hermit is someone who likes to be alone. They actually enjoy their own company. And it's this presence that suggests it's time to strike out for you, if you get this coming up in the reading, and leave behind all the boring, mundane things that you usually want to do. And it may feel as if it's a bit risky at first. Doing things on your own, you might think, oh gosh, now I want somebody to come along with me. And you might regret not listening to yourself and following your heart's desire. Try it. Maybe it's a case of starting off and going shopping on your own or going for a coffee on your own. The luxury of being able to kind of go out to lunch or go to the cinema and sit there, with a pack of minstrels watching a film on your own. The luxury of that, of just doing as you please. The more you do it, the more you like it. And I say time and time again, if you want to connect with your psychic self, you really do need to allow yourself to be able to listen. And the Hermit's one of those cards, okay? It's telling you it's a time for maturity and understanding what maturity brings. And you need to take a break from everything and everyone. Get away for a while. You might be deliberately trying to lay low and avoid certain groups of people. And it can feel as if maybe you're cutting your nose to spite your face, but I tell you it's not at all. It may even be that you need to seek the advice of someone to help you with that, maybe a teacher, a spiritual master, or a school or a body of thought to help you gain more understanding, or even a counsellor for that matter. Meditation will help you, and keeping a dream journal will help you. A journal of all sorts. It may be really helpful at this time. This is a card of also suggesting that you're working with your guides, your spirit guides. So you in turn might also be the one offering advice or counselling someone else. And a hermit can mean that you lead quite a solitary life, and it's possible that you're very private and keep to yourself. You will let very few people close to you. You're not going to let them get close. You're sitting there with your boundaries, and few people know very much about you at all. You might find it really hard to make friends, or you have very few friends, a bit like me, really. If we look at the Hermit, his focus is on a downward journey. And of course, that has been something of being able to go into a space and go into a place where you really just want to connect to your higher self, okay? And there's all sorts of different bits and pieces out there. If we look at the Hermit, his focus is a downward journey because he's on the top of the mountain. And therefore it suggests that he's on the verge of a breakthrough, but that will require a time of loneliness and solitary time alone. And in relationships, it may require you to withdraw from intimacy, or it may indicate a period of withdrawal, celibacy, You might be withdrawing from a relationship just to reflect before you make a profound commitment. An older or mature partner is often indicated in the presence of the hermit. So, what that means is it's an aspect of that person that is showing sensibility, straightforwardness, groundedness, and seriousness, and a maturity in the way in which they actually are. And that might be for you because it's your reading, or it might be, for the influences of someone close to you in relationships. The hermit is also associated with Virgo, so we know that this might be a Virgo having some influence in your life. So he's holding the staff in his right hand, which is a sign of following and feelings over our intellect, and yet he's facing the left, which is towards logic, action, and intellect, all of which you can find within. So you'll get rid of your fears, you'll get a place of following your intuition and using logic. The whole look of the hermit is representing wisdom. So it's maturity, knowledge through experience. We can see that he has a white flowing beard, which shows maturity, age, knowledge, and the grey tunic, of course, which symbolises contemplation and safety, and the fusion of black and white, which is all things blended together. And impartiality, of course. His grey shoes show that each step is considered and taken slowly with thought and purpose. And the hermit's staff is supporting him, and he's holding it in his left hand. That's the hand of reasoning and wisdom. And like the star that's in the lantern, it's helped him get to this place, which is solitude, withdrawal, and it's helping him back when the time is right. Now, with both hands, he's holding valuable items of trust and illumination, and his energies are fully focused to show him that no time is being wasted here. This can look a little bit gloomy because it's grey, to make us think, oh gosh, whoa, it's a great time. But our inner self is working on all issues and coming to terms with life and our learning. And that staff that he is holding is showing the potential to move onwards, because this is not a place to stay. The colour of his staff is the same yellow as in the star of his lantern, which shows how much support and direction this light is giving him when it comes to actual movement and healing and progressing in the real world. And in some versions of the Rider-Waite, you might see a different coloured staff, which will represent like a brown wooden colour, which would mean that it's bringing in grounding energy, and it's symbolic of support taken from strength given from this period of time of withdrawal and contemplation. The mountaintop is barren, so it's devoid of any life. It's nighttime and it's filled with quietness and darkness and surrounds the hermit. It's quite lonely, cold, and it's a time of feeling very alone. It's looking for the truth within ourselves. That's what the hermit's doing. He's in the right place to find it. In this empty darkness, he can view with no clutter to fill his head. So he is able to open his eyes and look at that guiding light. The view might look as if it's bleak to us from the outside, yet for the hermit, this is a place that he is visiting, which allows him to look for that truth and to be devoid of all of that clutter. Okay? He may be there through forced circumstances, or maybe he's there through a personal choice. Might be positive, I've put myself there, this is what I need to do, it's for my personal development, and I'm doing it through acceptance. Or it might be that it's a period of mourning and isolation with the desire to escape from life and the outside influences because our hermit cannot cope. He may want to avoid life while he heals. That may be a challenge that he unwillingly stays longer in this lonely place. But he needs to go into acceptance and understanding. If we look at this card, it hasn't got any sun, hasn't got any light apart from the lamp and the star, which is telling us that the healing is there, of course. So he is looking for a place of acceptance. But while he is doing so, he may be suffering the remoteness that reality cannot be ignored. It forces us to face ourselves as, like the hermit, will be stuck in a place until our minds and bodies have recouped and rested enough for us to recover. The hermit cannot leave the mountaintop until enlightenment's taken place, and that knowledge and truth is all that we need. And so often, when I'm reading for people, they say to me, gosh, I really had not realized just how lonely it is when you start healing and working on yourself. And that's because you're decompressing from everyone and everything, and you are starting to get rid of clutter in your life. And some of it may be permanent. And some of it may be that you realize that if you don't give an input, you were keeping it going, and that others are not gathering around you because you're not making the effort, or they don't like what you're saying, they don't like the new you, this place of peace and solitude that you find. So enlightenment can actually sometimes cause people to feel that, loneliness is difficult, but in actual fact, it is okay to be alone. And as such, a certain amount of waiting may need to be done, and patience. Time's needed. There are no quick solutions. And so truth needs to be found. And that is about seeking your own company or your own solitude, where you can recharge and find those solutions to find that acceptance and healing within. It's a time to contemplate where life is calling upon you, and it will depend on you for the answers. It's also about having the right people come into your life. And so sometimes other people may be offering you solutions. Sometimes you need to be cautious to make sure that they are true with your own experience. You may feel that there may not be the right person for you, and the answers need to come from you. So the Hermit is a card of withdrawal and solitude, whether it's being enforced by you or by your outside circumstances. It's an announcement of time in soul searching, contemplation, and looking deep within ourselves to be able to look at our answers and accept our problems. There will be the need to completely reevaluate your life, as I mentioned, as a whole, or within a specific area. A period of mourning might be brought about, which, you might feel a loss or completely alone while you contemplate and strive to be grounded or accepting within a certain situation. So there is loneliness and sadness and isolation with this card. And it's a card of the past, as well as realization that the problems that you have are yours and yours alone and must be dealt with. And this may be about making a decision and showing caution. And if you put your trust in others, then you need to be sure that you'll be rewarded with honesty. And you need to make sure that this is all about being incredibly grounded. You're probably going to need to depend on yourself and take things slowly. You mustn't rush things. The hermit's, he's standing still there. You need to hold on to things. Don't make plans. Look for progress that's suitable for you. And all progress should be handled with a maturity and a seriousness that connects to you. It's about a time in a reading where we reach a sense of maturity, wisdom, and the influences in our life may be within ourselves or someone who will come in and teach us something, because the hermit also can represent valuable spiritual mentors, and that can be a direct or indirect lesson that we are happening to understand or be in a place of acceptance. And do remember that, we can learn from the pain and the experience, that we cannot connect all of the dots all together, but it will come. And no matter how sad you may feel, or how bleak, or lonely, or difficult, or grey the situation may be, this time too will pass. There will be a solution. There will be that light where the lamp leads us towards the end of the tunnel. And you will find that your peace will return and be regained. It may be different. It's okay. And it's good to spend time with yourself and your own thoughts, your own wisdom. The luxury of doing so can be truly, truly amazing. So some keywords for the hermit is it is connected to health, which you must be really careful about. But yes, I must mention that. It's a card of health. It's a card of the past. It's a card of work. And what do we mean by that? Well, it's connected to the sixth house, which is all to do with work. Why do we get the past? Well, because the wisdom of the past. The hermit is someone who is showing as a maturity. So this is someone that we can look at, that they have lived life and therefore they have life experiences. But it is all connected to the past. Another card of the past, of course, it's the Six of Cups and the Three of Swords. It's a period of loneliness. There's no getting away from that. It's about wisdom and experience, about being alone. Alone is different to being lonely. It can be about the elderly, so, people in our life that are representing age in certain ways. It can be a period of mourning the past and looking back and trying to reclaim the past. It can be the spiritual awakening that we've been talking about. It's a period of retreat. It's a journey towards enlightenment. It's about solitude. And it's a time where you need to be alone. And the hermit also might represent a real life mentor, such as a time or a place or a counsellor or a psychotherapist, or maybe simply a wise friend or someone that you've known for a long time that can actually bring that about. Now, if we look at the hermit as a person, well, this is somebody who is wise, this is someone who is patient, this is somebody who could be a great spiritual mentor to us. It is someone in our life where we will view them as a trusted teacher. They can offer great help and spiritual sort of knowingness of what needs to happen next. And it's the wisdom that comes from personal experience of having walked the path on which you're walking. And they've learned how to do it by walking the boards, as it were. But this person can be quite introverted. They're highly analytical, a perfectionist. They like to do, doesn't mean they're neat and tidy. They might have complete messiness around them, but they have order within their routine, their surroundings, their environment, albeit to the naked eye, could look like something completely different, but they have a highly analytical, perfectionist way of doing things. They spend a lot of time in contemplation and they study the pursuit of deeper spiritual knowledge. Okay, so the Hermit is number 9 in the major arcana and represents understanding, discretion, tolerance, compassion, and it concerns progress and inspiration. As the road that we are travelling gathers the lessons, it helps us recognise how to proceed, and it brings us closer to the end of our journey. So 9's a springboard for us, and the Hermit is astrologically associated and linked to the sign of Virgo. And traditionally, a hermit is a man seeking solitude away from civilization to gain spiritual insight and truth, or to remove themselves from society, to find the pathway in life that they want simplicity and peace. And as a result, it is often viewed as a highly spiritual card and brings the right teachers into our midst. So, for those of us that are thinking very deeply about the pathway in life, as well as withdrawing from the crowd, from life, we are just looking to gain clarity and recover from matters which have caused us to be able to just decompress from others or from certain situations. Our Hermit card shows a lonely figure or an elderly cloaked man standing alone at the top of a mountain at night holding a staff and a lantern, and his head is hanging down, symbolising his submission into this situation and his need to reflect and his need to look within because he seeks to understand. The hermit's eyes are closed. Now that just shows that he's going within himself for the answers that he needs to deal with some deep personal transitions in life. The outer world is still there, and he'll find some of those answers, but he's closing his eyes to the practical, physical world as he goes inwards so that he can find his way, as it were. With our eyes wide open, our brain tries to sift millions and millions of different sort of stimuli and information per second. So the aim, of course, is to find peace and to find the answers and an understanding of what we can get from going within, and hopefully our subconscious self will allow us to grasp and heal from within. The answers that we need spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and even of a practical nature, anything that places us in a truly intimate and isolating inner search. Now, let's go back to our card. The Hermit's Lantern is showing a glimpse of what lies ahead, so it's lighting the way. That lamp is showing that he is seeking solace away from the events and casting that light upon trying to find that peace in a place of solitude. It's a guiding light, if you like, for the journey back down the mountain. Remember, he's in darkness there, and he needs that lamp to help him join back into normal life, as it were. The slow journey back, step by step, into reality. And so he's very grounded that although he's seeking solace and inner peace, he needs to make that connection. And so inside the actual lantern, we can see a star. That can be likened to the major arcana card, the star, in the lantern. And the star card is a card of healing. Okay, so it's a transition of healing. So we've got that star in the lantern saying this is the way to heal. Okay, and the star is also guiding him. It symbolizes hope and healing, and replaces fear, grief, and confusion with new peace that has been found from that period of connecting in one's self. He is holding it in his right hand, which is following our intuition and allowing our intellect to guide us. Yet, if we look at this card, our figure is facing to the left, which is the direction of logic, action, and intellect. And all of this can be found and connected within. So the whole look of the Hermit is representing wisdom, maturity, and knowledge through his experience. So the Hermit staff is supporting him, and he's holding in his left hand, and this is the hand of reasoning and wisdom. And like the star and the lantern, it's helping him to find that place of solitude. And this is going to help him find his way back when the time is right. So with both hands, valuable items of trust and illumination, his energies are fully focused. And it shows us that no time is going to be wasted. This can look a little bit hopeless when we look at this grey card. But, you know, the grey is a fusion of black and white. So that's the duality of being able to blend everything together. So grey is the colour here where we're seeing duality being fused together. Logic, reason, you know, everything combining. I thank you for joining me. This was recorded due to the fact that I have an appointment that takes me away, so that I can't film this for you in my normal lives. But I hoped that you would still join me in this recorded Hermit, and I'll see you on Tuesday. I'm going to say thank you very much for your company, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget our live on Tuesday, where we will be combining other cards with our Hermit card and teaching you how to fuse a major and minor card together. In the meantime, do go and have a look at my courses on my website, tarotwithanne-marie.com. You will simply find that this method that I'm using is pretty unique and truly helpful if you want to be a professional. These are some of the ways in which you can fuse how you can deliver a professional reading. And so I wish you a beautiful weekend. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you soon.